Listen, I mean, Yanks, just keep winning, keep doing what you're doing. The story, though, and obviously we'll get a little Rangers going here, tough one, but, I mean, it's June 6th, right? It's June 6th, and the Mets have already given their fans a season's worth of memories. What's amazing about this weekend, though, and listen, you can go back to the 8-hit, 7-run ninth over the Phillies or Alonso's walk-off home run the day after Scherzer got hurt, which was a big lifter. The 2-out ninth inning win, they were down 2-zip. They come back, they win 5-2. Back in May, the combined no-hitter. All the series wins to start the season. All those were amazing reinforcements that this was a different Mets team. But I got to tell you, Tuesday, 2-zip, shutout, like church mice, silent, 3 hits. Friday, 6-1 loss, a meager 5 hits. People, maybe even me, were ready to pounce. Not legit. I told you. They're not heavyweights. Yesterday, forget about yesterday. Saturday's win, facing Buehler, down 4-1 early. All the people getting ready to jump. Oh, wow, they beat the Phillies. Wow, they beat the Nats. Wow, they're not really that good. Circle Saturday, biggest win of the season.
Yeah, no, you're right. And then Sunday was epic as well for a different reason. But Saturday was that game that we've seen the Mets do all season long, just not against one of the best teams in baseball. Like we see it, you come back and you beat whoever, the Phillies or whoever, Washington Nationals. You get down early and you come back and beat those guys. Okay, you're supposed to beat them and you're supposed to bludgeon them. So the fact that you were down, it's actually more of an indictment on you than anything. But when you're down after losing 2, the way that they lost 2, the first 2 to the Dodgers on Saturday, would have been really easy to just say, yeah, we're tired. Francisco Lindor had that finger injury, even though it didn't stop him at all. He keeps raking and doing exactly what you expected him to do. He's already got 45 RBIs, B3. He had 63 all of last year, Francisco Lindor.
I told you, top 10 MVP.
He's going to have 110 RBIs on the season. But the point is, the way that this team just manufactures immediate success in unlikely situations tells you that they're here for real. They're here to stay. We knew this, but you kind of needed to see it against a really good team on the road. And if they hadn't split this, if they'd won only one of the 4, maybe you're still saying, all right, we just need to we now have an urgency to get some upgrades. Now you're kind of saying, we're all right. And when the upgrades come, that's just going to be gravy on top of it.
I'll tell you this, the sequence of performance is always really important. Think about this, to the converse. Say the Mets came out and they played lights out Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And they lost, and they were in a very feeble manner, as they did Thursday and Friday, on Saturday and Sunday. Today's show, different tone. But because it was, we're left with the
winning.
The winning and the positivity. But it's just deeper than that. Again, I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who are not, and I don't mean Met fans or even really, informed baseball enthusiasts of this city. I mean around the country, who look at this team, they say, man, they're really good, but, man, they are really but, man, they got a ton of character, but, boy, Buck's doing a hell of a job, but, like there's been maybe too many buts with this team. Think about what you were thinking, all right, as a Mets fan, after the Dodgers hung a 4 spot on you on Saturday, and you're down 4-1. I mean, it's not a fatalistic approach because you still have this monstrosity of a lead, and the Girardi's gone, although the Braves are at 500 now. But it wouldn't have been disaster, but it would have been a perceptual. What happens in soccer? They relegate teams, right?
Yes.
A perceptual relegation.
Yes, to a second tier
of the Mets.
Of eliteness, right?
Behind the Dodgers, behind the Yankees, that next tier.
That's right.
It changes everything.
Well, let's pose the question. Why are there all those buts? Is it simply because of history? Is it because if you look at the roster, you're not really saying, yeah, this guy can't really compete. This guy can't. Pete Alonso mashes. We know what Jeff does, McNeil. We know that Lindor is playing great baseball. Why are there buts? Edwin Diaz is back to the Edwin Diaz that we saw before the trade, before he came from Seattle.
Funky cold, but
exactly. Right? Yeah, maybe I got some small question marks there in the bullpen, especially with Seth Lugo blowing that save on Sunday, but they found a way to win that game anyways. You look at the starting rotation without DeGrom and Scherzer, and they're all holding their own.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I know you mentioned that, and you're saying this is what Mets fans are thinking. They're saying, yeah, but why are you having buts?
I think it's actually no. What I said was I think outside of the little Met bubble,
okay.
Big difference. But I think it's a couple of things. I think you touched on one of it, the historical aspect. Now that gets old after a while because think about this. You are. And forget about the Mets for a moment, but you can be the most downtrodden of franchises. And eventually have your day.
Yes.
So I don't get too wrapped up in that. I never got wrapped up in the curses, although the curse of the Bambino certainly. I was wrapped up in that for a long. That I kind of believed in. I got to be honest. But like the curse of the Billy Goat, whatever. But historically,
that one I kind of believed in too.
I hear you with the Cubbies. I get you. This is such a long time. How could you not?
Yeah.
But historically, that's part of it. The other thing, though, I don't think that the Mets are winning in a conventional manner. And when you defy conventionality, people need to get smashed over the head with it repeatedly until they actually embrace it. Now, I said, and I just heard it randomly or read it randomly. I guess 2 weeks ago I dropped the stat where the Mets have 20-plus more infield singles than anybody else, okay? It's not something you put at the top of the resume. Maybe you put the Triple Crown, the MVP, 100-plus wins.
The sexy numbers.
I don't know that anybody's going to raise it. Like, if that's arbitration, I don't know if that gets you the extra money that you're looking for. But then you mix in this. Yesterday, the Mets had their 23rd sacrifice fly of the season. Last year, they had 23 the entire season. You just look at these. I want to say little things because a lot of these off-the-radar things could lead to big things. But it's a lack of conventionality. The game's changing. The baseball's different. Guys are running more. Strikeouts are down. Home runs are certainly down.
Yeah.
And I just think that the baseball fan, I'm not talking about the Met fan, the baseball fan has been conditioned to watch baseball. And if they aren't, if it's not aesthetically tilted a certain way, they're not buying it.
You mean with the long ball?
With the long ball, yes.
So it's interesting you say that. Because,
5 All-Stars.
So Stevie Cohen is become the headline for the Mets. But the real headline and what he's done, bringing in Lindor and everybody else, Scherzer, etc. But the real headline might be Major League Baseball deadening the ball, right, and making it so that teams like the Mets can actually thrive, especially when you have a skip like Buck Showalter, who, one, knows how to motivate these guys to play each and every night and do the little things. Remember that? That's what was it? The steal. I forget early in the season. He stole second. He took second so that the run would score, get caught in the run down.
I 100%
right?
do.
It was something.
I think that was Philly.
It was Philly, but I can't remember.
I remember that.
Somebody screamed it from the dugout, and he's like, "Go, just go, get caught in the run down."
He read it great.
It was amazing. Yep. But it was a little thing.
Even Marte backing up that bad throw in right field.
That's exactly
early
right.
in the season. It's just things that you don't see like that.
Little things that allow well-coached teams with a deadened ball to actually be able to compete.
That's true.
Right? The Mets are 18th, I think, maybe even 19th in Major League Baseball in home runs. They don't hit the long ball a lot. I think it's 48, maybe 49 now with Alonso over the weekend. Probably 50, close to 50. Yankees have like 75 already. So, I mean, maybe it's the fact that Major League Baseball took advantage of a long ball era and said, we got our use out of that. Let's reward baseball players and baseball teams now, and the Mets are taking advantage of that.
They are. It's undeniable. They look really, really good. 12 minutes after 10 here on the Tiki and Tierney show inside the Town Fair Tire Studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. I got to drop this in. So Saturday, I had an appearance over at Ramsey Mazda.
Yep.
Had a great time. Scott Shannon was out there, part of the
Scott.
Odyssey. He's the man.
Yeah,
he's a legend.
He is a legend.
Joe Piscopo was there.
Was
So
he?
So I was talking to Joe, and Joe was in the Mets video from '86.
Okay.
All right. And there's a scene where Joe at the height, and he's still popular and he's a great guy, by the way. He's in the Mets video, and they've got these bobbleheads, and he says, I think he says something like exciting, thrilling, awesome, right? And he hits each one of the heads. And then like Lee Mazzilli, they jump on him. They start smacking him around. So the funny thing is I said, Joe, he listens to our show. He says, I love that you play that Mets song. And he says, the crazy thing is, though, I'm a Yankees fan.
No,
I
he's
said,
not.
what?
No, he's not.
I said, I can't wait to lay this on our audience. So Joe Piscopo, who is in the Mets video, I didn't know he was a big-time Yankees fan. I thought he was kind of maybe a little bit of both, somewhere in between. Told me straight up, Yankees fan. But no Mets hate, to be clear.
Okay, yes. But
no Mets hate. No Mets malice.
That then now begs the question, how much did they pay him
Don't know.
to be in that video?
We didn't get into the money.
It's
but
one thing if it's like, oh, I'm a big Mets fan. I'll do it for free. Absolutely.
Exactly.
I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
But as a Yankees fan, it's kind of like, all right, we got to pay you $100,000.
Well, think about it. He's Saturday Night Live at the apex of his powers. I would think.
Whatever it may be.
I mean, $50,000 just to show up and do a video back in '80s. I don't know if he got 50 large. I don't know. But he got his son in the video. Maybe that was part of the allure.
How many times did they play that video?
But I don't think there's residuals. I mean, hold on.
I know
if I didn't play the
saying.
song, you would never hear the song. So it's kind of dead.
That's true. But not then. Not for probably half a decade. It was probably weekly.
But they weren't playing it on MTV, on like where were they playing it?
That's a good point.
They weren't playing it on Friday Night Video.
That's a good point.
They weren't playing on Yo MTV Rap. Like where were they playing it?
That's a good locally, maybe.
You bought the VHS, you threw it in when you wanted to watch it, and that was the end of that. But to be fair to Piscopo, well, not to be fair because I love Joe, but we also had the converse there with our boy who was wearing the Mets hat on top of the horse, even though he's a Yankees fan.
Billy Crystal.
Of course. So maybe it goes a little both ways. But I said, I got to tell everybody, Joe. And he wants to call in, talk a little baseball at some point.
Love it.
All right, 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. Now, don't think for a second. We'll get these calls here. Don't think for a second. Now, you know me. Don't think for a second I didn't have a lot of material conjured up if this thing didn't switch fast.
I know.
Again, 2-0 Thursday. I was off on Friday. I didn't even tweet. I laid out, all right? 6-1 on Friday. Here we go, going into the weekend. Mets bats aren't looking too good. Can you imagine if the Mets come in here? It's not even about getting swept, but if they would have lost 4 or even 3, but were as impotent in the final 2 games offensively as they were the last 2. Doesn't change the trajectory of the season.
Yeah.
But your partner would have been a little lathered up today. And I probably would have been pissing some people off, but it's all good. All right, let's get first up. How about Vinny in Astoria? What's up, Vinny? How are you today?
Good morning, gentlemen.
What's happening?
I'm a huge Met fan. I'm sick and tired of all this crap that, the Mets are going to play, they can play with the big boys now. Let me tell you something. We are the big boys, and I don't even care if we would have got swept because the bottom line, here's the thing. This Met team that's shown all this grit and everything, they're not the team that's going to be in the playoffs, right? Because we're going to add Scherzer. We're going to add DeGrom. We're going to add McGill. And guess what? If we need a stick, we're going to get a stick. And if we need some bullpen help, we're going to get some bullpen help. So this crap with the Mets show they can play. No. We are the big boys.
Vinny, Vincent, let me ask you a question. The best team in baseball right now is which team?
The Yankees.
Who's number 2?
The best team. Number 2 are the Dodgers.
Who's number 3? The Mets?
Maybe the Astros, maybe the Mets. But what I'm trying to say
is... I got you. I know what you're saying.
I think you're right.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter if we got swept. We're going to come back. Even if we have to go back to L.A., you give me Scherzer, you give me DeGrom, you give me some help. And guess what? Escobar is a class hitter. He's not done very little. God forbid, this guy turns it around. That's another lethal bat in the lineup. He hasn't really... he had a couple of clutch hits throughout the season, but he has yet to find his...
no, he's been terrible for the most part. No, he's been terrible.
But he's been a great locker room, clubhouse guy, they say.
Well, he picks up the tab at dinner.
Home run guy. He's a 35 home run guy.
It works.
You need one of those guys, right? No, listen, Vincent, that's very fair. I think that's a smart way to look at it, and I think it's very pragmatic, and it's very on point. Even if the Mets got broomed, which they didn't, you could call and say the same thing. It's applicable. Hey, we've got this guy coming back. We've got that guy coming back. We got Cohen's checkbook. We've got this. We've got that. If you would have swept the Dodgers, I think the take would have been a little bit more aggressive. But, hey, we're already here. Think about what we'll become when we become more whole and split it down the middle. Literally 2 games, win, lose. You can still have the same read. That's the read on this series. It was just it reinforced what those who didn't fully believe in this Mets team.
What did you think going into this West Coast trip? It's 4 Dodgers, 3 Giants, 3 Angels.
Well, first of all, the Angels are horrendous right now.
11 in a row.
Yeah.
The Angels have lost 11, including to the Phillies, who
swept them.
Just swept them. So the Angels are on a skid right now. But without even knowing that, what did you
500-ish?
What did you think?
500. Game 500. Above, game under.
I think most people were saying that.
Yep.
I thought a game above. I thought 6-4 out of this road trip, and they're already on pace to do that.
6-4 is what you thought they would do, or 6-4 was pretty much optimal given the.
I thought that's what they. I thought
and
they would do 6-4.
I wasn't so sure about that. To be fair, I didn't think that they necessarily split with the Dodgers. That changes things now.
I was worried about the split with the Dodgers, especially on Sunday after the blown save by Lugo, but they found a way in extras to get it done.
They did, no question. How about Phil in River Edge? What's happening, Phil? You're on the fan.
Hey guys.
What's up, Phil?
BT, welcome aboard, buddy.
Philly boy. What am I joining here, Phil?
Well, you're joining the Mets crowd that knows this is the real team. You'll never change from a Yankee fan. I'm not saying that. But you have been the naysayer for the New York Mets.
He's
kind
of been the defender.
Here we
Phil,
go.
I think he's actually defended.
Another misrepresentation of my positions on the air. Lacking accuracy, Phil. Come on, Phil.
Come on. This is an exciting team, and you guys realize that too, man. The small ball.
It's awesome.
Home runs. This is an exciting team to watch.
Yes.
I can't be more happy after losing the first 2 and then taking the last 2. Man, oh man, this is great.
Phil, let me read you something, Phil. I want to read you something. It's short. You ready, Phil?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
All right. Really, really nice response by the Mets to take the final 2 versus the Dodgers. Had disaster written all over it heading into last night's game, but they find a way. Had disaster late today, but again, they respond. Character and heart always travels. Guess who wrote that?
Don't tell me you, BT.
I did. I did.
Well,
so I think here's what I
right.
think needs to happen, Phil. Hold on. I think you guys need to stop hearing what you think I'm saying about your New York Mets. Thanks for the call, Phil. And start listening to what I'm actually saying about your New York Mets. How about that? Can we broker a little deal?
I would say that's good, but what you say sometimes is different than what you tweet.
Touche, Tiki. Touche. Don't let the facts get in the way, buddy. Come on, man.